Welcome back to this latest episode of Japan's top business interviews. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, President, Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training. My special guest today is Loïc Pecondon-Lacroix, who is the country holding officer of ABB. Loïc, welcome. So a couple of things. Maybe explain what a country holding officer does. That's a new title on me. And also talk a little bit about ABB. Many people probably know ABB. It's a huge company, global, but some may not. So just what's the title mean and a little bit about ABB?
All right. Yes, thank you very much, Greg, for today. So yes, that's true. It's a country holding officer is a little bit unique, indeed title. So this is actually an internal function, naming. And I'm in charge of making sure that ABB in Japan operates within law and regulations. Yeah. So this is mostly a fiduciary role and also governance. Yeah. And of course, not only from the external perspective of Japan laws and regulation, but also internal guidelines, yes, and policies from ABB. ABB is very strong in compliance, integrity, HAC matters, for example, right? But not only, I would say this is a kind of a gatekeeper, but also an ambassador. This is why I'm here today as well, to represent ABB internally and externally, yeah. And I make maybe a kind of a link now with what is ABB. Well, ABB is a, relatively large.
What does ABB stand for?
Thank you so much. So ABB comes from the merger of two groups, actually, with two DNA, I could say. One that is Swedish, from ASEA, and another one that is Brown and Beverly, or BBC Corporation, not the BBC with the mic, but mostly two entities that was one engaged very early on in electrification and the other one more in process automation and motion drives and motors. Okay. And these two, so one is Swedish, ASEA, and the Brown and Boveri is Swiss. And therefore, later, earlier last century, these two entities merged together to form ASEA, Brown and Boveri, BB, so ABB now. So, and ABB now is a world leader in electrification and automation. Yeah. And of course, this is a lot to do with how to run industry safer, cleaner, smarter, with the view on, of course, limited resource. So sustainability is I would say it's an embedded topic within our corporation. And powering or helping the world to be powered. This is a lot to do with, managing, I would say, electric flow or current in a safe way and fast for a lot of different type of industries. So that's ABB. And so my role here, as I mentioned a little bit, so yes, of course, there is a governance part. There is the people part, people and culture. I have to have Japan energized.
Actually, you mentioned there's quite a few people in the company.
That's right. We are about 600 overall in Japan. So
that's a huge number of people. Wow.
Well, that's quite that's quite extensive. That's true. With a couple of sites in Japan as well. Some manufacturing actually as well. And you might have read in the press relatively recently, ABB decided to spin off part of its operations, one of the 4 business area, the robotics, to actually make a sharper portfolio, surely for investors. When ABB wants to, investors would like to invest in robotics, then after spin-off, it will be a purely robotics player. And ABB concentrate on these 3 main core: electrification, automation, and motion, which are the 3 business area remaining. So in Japan, like so many of these type of companies, ABB is a big name, not in Japan. We need to compose differently.
It's been here for a long time, though. I mean, ABB has been in Japan how many years now?
Well, yes, the first shipment was actually coming in 1907 through the port of Yokohama.
1907.
So this is.
So there's no excuse for people not to know about ABB.
Well, you could say so. That's true. So actually, having said that, it's true. We are a B2B company, so the general public wouldn't know.
No.
And once, of course, you get into the more specialized industry and players, obviously we compete in global markets. We also compete here in Japan, just in a different scale. Yes, you mentioned we are 600 people here in Japan. Of course, to the size of Japan and the players that are here in our market, we are, I would say, medium, not to say small. We don't like to say so. A player, right, from a share perspective. But this is where, and I think we will discuss that today, this is where comes the mindset, the attitude, the innovation, the way you have to be in Japan, within Japan rules, right? We'll talk about business ethics and etiquette and a number of things, I guess, today as well.
We will, yeah.
And of course, this is in the playbook. There is also no recipe for success. You need to be relatively humble here in Japan market. This is also culture, I think, and take the time.
I bumped into ABB up close and personal back in 2008, 2009, when I did the Dale Carnegie course for the first time. And one of my classmates was from ABB. And that's when I'd heard the name, but I hadn't quite understood what it was at that time. So I feel that's a long time ago now, 2008, 9. So, like, why are you in Japan? I mean, give us a little bit of background on your career. How is it you've come to Japan? What's the backstory a little bit here?
Sure. All right. So, well, I'm a Frenchman, right? Educated mostly actually in sales, but my first job was a controller. And then I started, and I kind of throughout my career, I've been a controller in various roles, local, regional, global roles. You could say cross-country.
So controller in that sense is in the financial control you're talking about?
You're right. So
Or
I
like
call
a
it
COO?
actually a business. I call it more business controller.
Okay.
I had also CFO roles. So the CFO is a well-known, let's say, title. So we understand what is encompassing. This is also controlling tax, accounting, finance, and so on. A business controller, what I like about it is that it starts with business.
Is it more like a typical COO role? Would you call it that, or different?
Well, okay, so it's quite interesting role in the end. You could say it's a CEO without the P&L responsibility. Of course, the
That
controller.
sounds like the best job going.
Well, he's the guy that actually says yes and no, but doesn't get the heat when things goes wrong.
That sounds pretty good job. I like that. I should have gone for a controller role in the past. That's good.
So that's right. And so going through, Germany, China as well, of course, France at the start, and Japan. So here in Japan, this is my second time. I worked a long time in automotive business, and after
not with ABB though. I mean,
not with ABB. That's the point.
So you started in what industry, what companies, or which countries, and then sort of roll us through that into ABB in Japan.
Right. So long time in the automotive business. My last roles were global roles in Germany, and then at that time I kind of the end of the cycle, you could say.
This is doing actual car production, or this is things for cars, or
things for cars.
Things for cars.
We call it
things like Continental or Bosch or these sorts of big German companies.
Yeah, you're right. So Bosch would be a competitor. If you know, for example, ZF, that is also a big one. Continental for tires, of course, but they also do
Other
a number
parts,
of other things. So yes, my prior employer was Mahle, Mahle. Under the hood, so you don't know engines, bearings, a number of things, filtration, thermal management, AC, for example, for cars and cooling, things like that. That actually you never fix it yourself. That's one, and therefore you never know it. But so I was in Germany, end of a cycle, and then as a family decision, actually my wife got picked up. We call it hunted, right, to go to Japan, and therefore we said, okay, let's go to Japan. And so I came in, and then looking for a new role, and I was quite inspired by the two things: the change of industry with ABB, so energy. I had a big automotive sticker on my face all across, and controlling, and to make this shift was for me an opportunity, and that's why this CHO role is relatively unique as well. You have an overview, of the business, of course. You also
So you said CHO.
CHO.
What's a CHO for people who don't know what a CHO
Yeah, so
is?
country holding officer. Right.
Okay.
So you are.
So you've been country holding officer twice then?
No, so before that, in
Yes.
Japan, so my first time
First
I was
time?
a general manager here in
General
Japan.
manager, okay,
Yes.
for ABB.
For Mahle.
Oh, for Mahle. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so you were able to come with Mahle to Japan?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I went 10 years ago. I was here in Japan.
Oh, okay. Because that's fairly rare. You know, the one of the partners in the marriage gets the job in a foreign country, and the other one to be able to move within the same company.
Yes,
to
that's right.
the same country. That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So we moved to Germany for 7 years because I had an opportunity to grow, and when it came, when came the moment of my wife, we said, okay, then we go to Japan. And so this role, yes, quite unique, that's true. So it's governance, it's internal, but also external, right? And in fact, you are also, so I was saying, yes, this is people and culture, of course, the brand ABB, yes, obviously. Governance is a strong point, but we are also, I'm also a business facilitator.
So how to, just trying to understand the flow here.
Yep.
So you're with Mahle, and then you go to Japan with Mahle, then
Yes.
you go back to
I
Europe?
go to Germany in the headquarters for global roles.
And then how does the ABB thing happen?
And so my wife got hunted here in Japan. So she quits as well, come here to work for a French company, not because of me, yeah, of course, by her own merits. And then I'm out of a job here in Japan. And of course, I start to, wander around to say, what do I want to do?
So this is, sorry, I'm trying to understand, this is her second time in Japan? She's been brought to Japan?
So actually, I have to maybe say something. My wife is not French. She's also not Japanese. She's Korean, born and raised in Japan.
Ah, okay.
So yes. So the coming back to Japan was also a strong signal, and maybe this is also a good platform here to say, well, women's leadership, yeah. This is also an issue. I mean, a topic, not an issue, maybe, but also here in Japan, globally, but in Japan, and so we thought, okay, this is a chance. There are not too many chances, maybe like this, for her to start to grow. Germany is a very also, I would say, gender, yes, looking at diversity and also equity. That's true. But in a relatively short term, she would have no opportunity to grow. And so we made the move, and I become free, you could say, of Mahle, free of controlling. And therefore, I
you
said,
weren't out of control, though.
Exactly, let's do something else and try this role, yes, where you have to be heard sometimes without being seen.
So you're actually recruited in Japan?
Yes.
Wow, okay. That's, again, fairly unusual. I mean, there's probably not too many senior business leaders that I talk to who actually have been recruited in Japan for the job. Normally, they're coming to Japan for the job. So that's also quite unique. And so you have the automobile industry as a strong background, completely different industry now. You get into ABB.
Yeah.
And the first job in ABB was, you said, as general manager, was that right?
No, this job.
Oh,
here.
this job.
Yes, absolutely.
So they take you straight to the top
Them
job.
takes me straight to this country holding officer.
Right, this is fabulous. I love this. I'm out of a job. My wife's got a job. I don't have a job. I'm sick of playing golf. I'm sick of hanging around home. What can I do? I know. I'll just become the head of a 600-person company in Japan and join ABB. Fantastic. So again, you come in as a complete outsider.
That's true.
And so the people here are going, who's this guy? This French guy from the automobile industry. He turns up here. What is this? Why should we follow this guy? He doesn't know anything about our industry. Okay, his wife's grown up here. So what? We got him as the boss. Why should we follow this guy? So what did you do to work on people to become engaged, to follow you as the new leader?
So, okay. I believe that one of very key point of leadership, not only in Japan, is at first say that you don't know, and you listen intently. So the part as I don't know, this is easy for me because I'm fine with that. And it's true. You don't know many things, especially in the situation that you just, explained. I'm new to the business. Okay, new to the organization. Okay, I know nothing. Actually, this is ground zero. Okay, zero-based knowledge, you could say. So you have everything to learn. That's fine. The more eventually challenging, at least for me, and everybody is different, is listening. I'm also fine. But if you want to go to the next level in leadership, you have to listen intently. So with the intention to actually understand truly what the other person is trying to say. And of course, here comes the complication of Japan. Because sometimes in Japan, and many times actually, people don't intend to say anything. Or they don't say. They tell you without saying. Which even, yes, I knew Japan, with also a leadership role and doing restructuring before. But this is always, this is not my natural traits, even if I'm aware of that. You need to make strong efforts. And okay, I have to say, yes, one of my former boss was saying, yes, Loïc, we are racing machines. Well, you cannot race Le Mans every day through the year, right? So you have moments where obviously you're not absent, but you're not fully present.
Also, I'm just wondering, was the previous country holding officer a foreigner or Japanese?
So the situation was a little bit unique. So the prior role was taken by a Japanese, but he had also a business global role. And in fact, couldn't do both properly. There was also a country finance manager. And in fact, they kind of bundle this under this role to be at the same time country holding officer, taking care of the finance topics and a number of other things. So the role was a creation.
Interesting decision. We've got a Japanese guy here. He's got two big roles. He can't deal with these two big roles, so we need to replace him. And I know, let's add another complete role in there, make three big roles, and give it to Loïc.
Yeah, so it was a role creation.
Amazing choice, Normally you'd think the other way, strip it down and make it simple, make it easy. But actually, no, let's make it more complicated and make it a bigger job altogether and bring in a guy from the automobile industry who's got no basis in our industry whatsoever. Amazing to me. Just when I listen, I go, wow, that's something,
Yeah. So you said outsider. I think that was probably a shock maybe here.
Yeah. Because where I was going with that question, was I was thinking if you'd had a previous foreigner as the leader, that foreigner probably would have trained the Japanese to be expressive and to speak up. And they would have gone through that. Okay, we have to speak up. We have to verbalize what we're thinking. We've got to, put our hand up. We've got to put up initiatives because that's what this foreigner requires from us. And they're trained that way to do it. But you're getting the Japanese pure version of, you have to get my Ishin Denshin going on here, the message from stomach to stomach, and you're going to understand what I say, even though I don't say any words at all. That's a bit of a difficult task for foreigners. But so, okay, I understand now. Okay, so you're talking about, listening. What other things did you do to try and get people engaged to follow this complete stranger from outside the industry who's now got three big roles in one?
Well, so I think you have to, again, this is, first of all, I think there is no recipe. This is the point. So, everyone tries, and if we would have just read a book and make it happen, and then, maybe we wouldn't need anyone. So, most important, I believe, is trust, is to build the trust. And here, this is different. You have to build it up in a different way.
But you'd been here before.
Yes.
So you had a good insight into Japanese don't verbalize. They're not going to tell me. They don't know me. I have to get the assurance for them that I can be trusted. So you had that background, which was, I imagine, a big help.
That's true. So I had this layer of understanding, let's say the first, a bit more than an emergency kit. I had already probably something a little bit more sophisticated than that. So I think you have to, to show that also you commit to the people.
How do you, we can say that, yes, I commit to my people. Great, fantastic. What's that look like in execution though?
Exactly. So you said the word. You have to execute it. You cannot just talk about it. The Japanese people also have something with them that is time. It's different. They are more in a long cycle from business or relationships, right? So when you come as a foreigner, already you have this disadvantage eventually that they probably think, come on, this guy is just there for a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and he just do something else later. So maybe, we don't know, but you can still signal that while you're here, you're really here. And you will like to, and this is not about you, it's about the others. It's about the team. It's about here, ABB in Japan, you guys. Maybe in 5 years, I won't be here. I don't know. Maybe I'll still be here. It doesn't matter. What matters is what I do now for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and that you feel that there is still authenticity, not in the flamboyant style to say the things, to be a show person or something, but exactly then to execute, to take the decisions one after the other, the mini steps. So,
and at that point too, I mean, you coming in some ways, the disadvantage is coming from outside the industry. The advantage is from coming outside the industry because you're bringing eyes and perspective and experiences to look at framing things maybe from another perspective that the people of the group think inside the industry may not ever be able to tap into. So I'm just wondering whether you're able to draw on that capacity to see things maybe in a different way because of your background. Did that help you?
So, yeah, I mean, of course, the outside perspective helps, obviously, especially for more junior leaders or apprentice leaders, leaders that are maybe middle management and actually they don't know so much, right? They are still very much into the daily and the zoom out. Yes, Japan, markets, okay, yes. So people usually are technical people. Yeah, this is an engineering company. So the products are technical, the solutions are technical solutions. But when you go to the customer, yes, you need a good technical solution, you need a good salesperson. This is the point. You need to have this process and methods to go there. And you need to have a build-up strategy. Where do you go next? And so on. And to build that up, this is, I think, what I also bring, for a number of people, to have this approach. And also unique to Japan, probably management expectation. This is, I think, all challenge for all, I would say leaders in Japan or people that are leading operations here and have pretty much to refer to headquarters or other people outside of Japan. And you are continuously have to explain why it's different, what you can do and what you cannot do, or what you can expect and what you cannot expect. And so this as well, you also need to, to pass on this knowledge. You are not only there you first have, of course, to change yourself and understand what it is, this Japanese setup, from a cultural standpoint. Not only ask the other people to change, you probably need to change a bit yourself as well, right? So, or adaptation, let's say, you have to still be, like a chameleon, I think. The chameleon changes colors, but it's still a chameleon. So, okay, you can think about that. That's still the same animal, just it looks different, even if it's pretty much the same. So that's quite interesting. And if the people see that, okay, you want to truly help them, we say something, nothing is for free. This has nothing to do in a modern company from leadership. The leader is truly there for the team to succeed. So collective success, this is not about you. So if you have been able to build this authenticity, if you have a certain logic as well, well, I think the people would listen. because you listen first, right? So yes, of course, this, and I believe and I had actually this talk with my boss. He said, well, look, Loïc, you had this broad experience in different countries, went to Japan, you are process oriented, you understand finance, you've been a general manager, so you have this kind of local, regional, global roles, so you understand what it is to be in the factory, to be in the middle as a region guy, and to be in the headquarters spreading guidelines and policy all over the place. So I have a pretty good understanding of how to position myself within the organization, and therefore also try to explain to the others, if they want to grow themselves, how they should be positioned themselves and where to learn. So I think that's to basically to give your time, your expertise, your knowledge, an example of an approach. When people feel that it's not imposed, and I think this is back to also this Japanese fear to fail or don't speak up. You mentioned that earlier. Well, they would speak up if they feel safe, and I think this is everywhere.
And also, I think you think about ABB Global. They've got a very sophisticated society and industry knowledge in Japan. They've got a big footprint here. However, a lot of companies can never tap into the Japanese resource, and they tend to work only in Japan. Like you're French, but you've been in Germany, you said China, Japan, you've moved around. You're rather portable. But very, very few Japanese executives seem to be portable. You do meet occasionally one or two, but not many. They tend to be, I've spent my whole career in Japan and I never went anywhere else. And so I guess, is that part of the thing too, that you're able to help them to have a world bigger than Japan when you talk about supporting them? Because it always seems to me that the organization as a whole is hoping to have the best access to the best resource amongst the people that they can use globally. But Japan's often a bit of a castle surrounded by a great big moat, and no one comes out. So how about here?
Yes, right. No, thank you for that. Yeah, of course. I mean, we should remind ourselves Japan is an island. It's far away. I mean, from Western anyway. And the ties here, of course, you have the big China, but okay, yes, if you look at, centuries, yes, it's there, very, very influenced, yeah, of course, but it's still an island. So the Japanese economy and population, even though it's at risk of shrinking, and it is, but it's still relatively big. So, people still believe, okay, in Japan, I can do my life in Japan. I don't need anything else, right? So they have this idea that, yes, it's pretty much sustainable and sufficient. Of course, when you knock or you work for a company like ABB, already the people working for us and the one that we also try to recruit are the one that think that Japanese society and then working for a Japanese company doesn't give them the best opportunity of openness and learning. So it is slowly changing. Yeah, I do a lot of talks and keynote speeches for our graduates cohort, and it's very different. If you see this 18...
When you say graduates, you mean university graduates who are getting their first job with ABB.
So yes, and in Japan there is a very specific way to do that. Company actually recruit these students already second or third year. So you have people that are 19, 20 that comes over, say they are interested, and my role and my job is to make sure that they come. And you need to inspire them in a different way.
And you're talking to them in Japanese?
No, I do that in English on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the moment is for them to stand up and say, I have a dream. Well, and I found out that these people, these young to-be talents, male or female, have dreams. and their dreams is pretty much lined up also with what ABB try to embody. Okay, sustainability, caring for the people and others, but also discover the world, right? So I think there is a certain movement, but for the certain number of people, it's not all the talents in Japan that are embracing this. And so I think this is our point. You need also to just to mention that in a very short sentence, but the way you recruit your people, it's not just going fishing. You need to actually select the one that will contribute to ABB and are open for what ABB represents in Japan, which is an open door or window to the world.
When you had a bigger youth population, you could have many resumes and many alternatives and make a selection. But I feel today with the shrinking youth population, they're interviewing you. You're not interviewing them anymore. And choices actually are limited. The number of resumes you get today compared to when I first started giving resumes a long time ago here, is vastly different. And the amount of capacity to select from a broad group is also very limited. So even though you may have the ideal, persona you want for ABB, I'm just wondering whether the tyranny of numbers actually allows that to float up. So you have that selection. I think there's some compromises have to be made there, I would imagine.
Absolutely. There is a small pool of, you could say, qualified candidates, not just technically, from the mindset, right, and culture, which is for us. So we are an engineering company. We need the base of engineering. This is difficult to learn over time. So, of course, we compete. It's not easy. But, when you recruit, then I would say the challenge or the journey is not finished. You need to retain.
Yes.
So this is the second shot you have. So
we know that 30+% of third, fourth year intake leave. Third, and I think pre-COVID it got up to close to 40%. So it's sort of on the way up there, 33, 34, 35 or something, which is 1/3 of your people that you recruit. You recruit 10, you keep 3 type of thing, You recruit 30, you keep 20. So it's quite, actually keep 6 out of the 10, not 3, but it's a problem. That's a problem, isn't it? Retaining, because you at the controller overall viewpoint may have this idea, but they're not working for you. They're working for their boss down the chain, a long way down the chain. And that person has to also understand their job is not just recruit and train, it's retain. And how they deal with that person has a huge impact on whether they stay or not. So how do you make sure that the broad view that you have, that sort of, above the clouds up here, the very, very top, right down on the, machine at the bottom is actually that's happening. How do you make sure that's happening?
Absolutely. So this is a very good point. Obviously, this is a challenge. You need to have this deployment of, and this is even not method and process. You can write an email, you can send these, you can ask the people to do this and that. No, it's more the mindset and truly understanding what the way it works now is not the way it used to work. And of course, if you ask somebody that already 20 or 30 years, he looks back and he reminds him, come on, my boss was telling me I was just there early morning doing all the things. And this young guy showing up, you tell me, no, well, it's quite different now. He will respect you, of course, but there was a number of things you can't expect anymore. So it needs to be a cross-generational now. There is a challenge for that. It's everywhere, I think. In Japan, there was a pretty much, deep culture on what is the newbie doing, right? Doing not much, running around, carrying whatever, posters or materials, copying things, Well, now this young generation of, the graduates, they don't do that anymore. They have brighter ideas. So we need to, which we do, to explain to both what they can expect from each other and how we would like this to work out. Collaboration, yes, but again, like you just said before, you can't just say words. You need just to do it. So practically, it's to make sure that the middle management has a very important role to play here of guiding this process and themselves having this self-reflection, which is not easy.
If you want to be successful as a leader, do the Leadership Training for Managers course. All companies need people who can both manage and lead. Leading people screams out for real skills in communication, dealing with all different types of people, being excellent at innovation, planning, delegation, handling mistakes, doing performance reviews really well, and inspiring and motivating the team. Do the Leadership Training for Managers course now in either Japanese or English. Leading is easy. Getting people to follow is the hard part. That is a great quote from Yogi Berra. Surprisingly, despite the complexities of leading here in Japan, everyone has to work it out by themselves. Foreign leaders want practical, applicable, expert advice. This is now available for the first time in history. Grab your copy of Japan Leadership Mastery on Amazon today and avoid the mystery, trial and error, especially the errors. And particularly also, you mentioned they're coming from very technical engineering backgrounds, which are really dry, analytical, and this sort of communication, human relations skills are not usually anything part of their experience. And then over time, because they're best engineer, they become the leader. And here you are, you're the middle management now as the best engineer, but the role of the leader is entirely more than that. And you have to become a very good communicator, a very good human relations expert as well. And so it's quite a challenging thing, isn't it, to go from being technical to being someone who's actually quite capable of holding people. And I remember when I was at Shinsei, we'd have 50 years plus old branch managers, and these graduates would come in, top universities, they'd come in, and they're thinking, well, my boss treated me like this, and it's going to be tough love for you. And the young people are like, hey, tough love? I didn't sign up for any tough love. Forget it. And they leave, So you had to really work on educating these people. Otherwise, your people's coming in and leaving. Very expensive process, in terms of the money, the time, and the energy that's got to go in to replace them. So in terms of encouraging people, I asked you before about how you engage people to follow you. What about getting ideas from people? Because you've got a big organization here, and often I make the metaphor that middle management always reminds me on the top layer, there's this massive big sponge to get all the information that's coming from the organization and from above them. But below that sponge is this solid concrete so that absolutely nothing goes down to the people below them. They keep all the power, all the information, all the insight, and they don't pass anything down. So, we sit above the clouds, in our offices thinking, yes, my ideas are percolating all the way down to the person at the very bottom because I've made sure this is happening, but actually it's not happening. So what's your experience on getting middle management to actually percolate the ideas all the way to the bottom?
Yes, right. Yes, thank you, Greg. So I think there are no recipes, but you have a number of tools that you could use for that. So we use tools like this also, to communicate more directly to the people. So expose themselves to this idea platform, this speak up, this, be engaged. So not only believing in the cascade of the deployment, but also more targeted message. So that's one thing. And of course, we have to take the time to train and educate. This is so not only now, you're right. I mean, there has been always, corporate training programs about this and about that. But now it's very much to do with this, again, expectation management from this cross-generation. right? The middle management also have, leaders that are maybe coming from other countries. Yeah. So, okay, they need to understand. And so this expectation management, I think this is a topic that I mentioned a little bit earlier, but this is quite unique.
These are internal platforms? Or?
Yes, these would be internal platforms, yes. ABB has a lot of internal training, but not only technical, yeah, and really push the collaboration. So again, they need people like me to have the voice of the collaboration, to ensure that constantly you do it yourself and you talk about it. And it's never ending because, of course, like you say, we are growing in Japan, so new people are joining, all right?
So what are you doing? You're sending out emails? Are you having town halls? I mean, how are you getting that message to the bottom?
Yeah, there are. So, of course, there are town halls, emails, or our internal social media platform.
So what's your internal social media platform? What are you using, Facebook or something? Or?
Well, we have a tool called Viva Engage. Mm-hmm. That is... it's an internal Facebook, you could say. Okay. You post, you have stories, you can create communities. So people are members of communities. It's quite active. But of course, yes, it's you need to deploy and be present. It's not perfect though. Of course, people still need to read, to click, and to be engaged. We talked a little bit about engagement. And the point is that differently, maybe one a bit of uniqueness for Japan. Engagement, I think, for Japanese people, at least corporate engagement, is not about a metric. Western will do the survey, give you a score, and tell you Japan seems not, according to the benchmark. You are not you're leading the score.
Loïc, what are you doing in Japan? Look at these bad engagement scores here.
Exactly.
Very lowest in the world.
So, and you say, two things I want to say. And then the first thing, this is this. Well, engagement in Japan is not a metric.
And the headquarters accepts that.
So okay, you have to start not the negotiation. You need to start the feedback loop. And ABB is keen on feedback. So I also want to say to the leaders to say, feedback goes both ways. And they listened intently. Your expectation to me, I have the same expectation from you. Listen intently. When you come to Japan, you receive a brief of 10 pages to say, this is how we do in Japan. There is a page about engagement KPIs, but there is also some lines written to explain how I want our ABB leaders to behave when they come to Japan, or to support the middle management leadership, to empower the people. So it goes both ways. So, and I'm back to the trust. Engagement here, it means if the leaders, and not only just the top person, the leaders, the business leaders, the middle management, if an employee feels safe, maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time even, but maybe the third time, someone will start to say something shy and say, and then it's a kind of revelation. Then he feels, I can actually speak, and it's okay. And you have to also, this is the cultural aspect. You can't impose. People won't speak up. Well, they don't speak up. So, you just take it as you cannot make them speak up.
And often those engagement surveys have translations which are not really nuanced for the culture.
Yes.
And I know myself, when I've worked in companies and I've sat in those meetings where you're being shown across APAC or something, and there's Japan right down the bottom. Globally, APAC's the lowest, and in APAC, Japan's the lowest, and people are looking at you saying, well, what are you doing over there, Greg? Obviously doing a very bad job. The people are not engaged. But as you say, there's a lot of nuance around that, and I found that the people who were hired to translate those surveys had no real understanding of what the nuance needed to be. And when you change the translation, it changed it. Because, I mean, on a scale of 10, if the Japanese are really happy, they'll pick 5. 5 is a good score. Well, they only pick 5. You know? So, but 5 is a good score on a Japanese scale, right? So this is always a problem with dealing with headquarters, isn't it? In terms of culture, though, you know, you have an ABB culture, global culture. You have Japan culture, and then you have Loïc culture. You know, how you like things to be around here. You run this organization the way you like it predominantly because you're the boss, and you have things that, you know, are important to you. So thinking about building a culture. Now, if your Loïc culture is antithetical to the organization, you'll get fired. If it's antithetical to Japanese culture, you won't succeed. So you have to fit in with those big, massive umbrellas. But within that, though, you can build a culture here for ABB in Japan that reflects Japanese society and also your preferences. So what have you found worked well to build a culture in Japan?
Okay, yeah, thank you. So you mentioned it a little bit before. Japan as a culture and language is highly contextual, right? So yes, before being fully yourself, you need to feel this, you know, read the air.
Read the air, absolutely.
There is a saying,
yes,
right, in Japanese. Which is a skill set that, I mean, we maybe some people never know how to do this. They are not wired this way. It's very difficult.
Engineers, for example.
Maybe so, exactly. So,
Often.
Luckily, I'm not an engineer, maybe. But no, to say that, so you need to bring novelty with the understanding on how this novelty or how your style would clash or not with the local culture, right? So you still need to be aware of this business ethics and etiquette and a number of things. Yeah, the rules of the game, I would say. In fact, right? When you like when you start a board game, you have a set of things that they say this is the context. And once you have that, and people see that you try hard, even if actually sometimes you fail, but you try genuinely, then they will say, okay, he tries. I know that I will never be a, you know, I have not studied Japanese, so I don't speak Japanese, very few words here and there. So anyway, I deal with the people in English only. And also I figured, well, even though I would speak Japanese, then still there will be the misunderstanding. So let's take a step back, say, yes, I understand these key rules. And then people say, okay, he really tries. And and at some point there is maybe a tilt moment where, okay, let's trust him. We don't understand it all. He also doesn't understand it all. He doesn't also understand it all. But there is a kind of a common ground. You know, this consensus in Japan. You don't reach the full consensus, but if you have a core where you say, okay, we think we can trust that person. We think, you know, he's there. He's also logical. We understand he does that not for himself, but for the good of people, for the good of the collectivity. Then when you start to win hearts, you then win heads. And then you can start changing things where it matters. And I think this is also what I've learned here now for second time in Japan. You have to choose your battle. It's true everywhere. But if you walk in thinking, okay, you know, this is Japan, I don't care, I know, and this and that, there is zero chance. You are exhausted the day one,
Pushing
day two.
a piece of string.
No, yes.
Doesn't work, right?
No,
and I think that's a mistake people imagine they can, and often they're sent from headquarters, with their marching orders. Okay, Loïc, you're going to Japan. We're not happy with the results there. You're being sent in to fix it. We're expecting numbers. We're expecting outputs. We're expecting revenues. Get on it or you're out. And they get off the plane with that ringing in their ear. So they're right, I better get into it, shake things up. And obviously things are wrong around here because that's not how we do it at headquarters. And these people aren't working hard and they're not doing the right things. I've got to fix all this and I need to get rid of these people because they're obviously resistors. Disaster, disaster, disaster. And so you can see why often leaders are sent here and they just completely screw it up because they just don't have that margin to step back and say, well, wait a minute, what am I looking at here? So in terms of, if someone rang you up and said, hey, Loïc, you've been running organizations in Japan, how many years were you here with Mahle when you were here before?
Yeah, almost 4 years, so a good 3 years. Yeah, so now it's almost 5 years, you could say, something like that.
Right, so you know Japan. I'm being sent out to Japan to run my organization, but I don't speak Japanese. I don't know the Japanese system. I don't know the culture, the business practices. You do. How can I be an effective leader in Japan? What would be some advice you'd give people?
All right. So number one, it would be take the course of cultural intelligence. Go there. Buy your book. Invest this time, 2-3 days with people that open your eyes, make you smile, make you laugh. Talk to the other people. Go to, these events everywhere that you meet up people. They tell you the stories. Oh, I tried and I failed. Oh, okay. So, then you start to be maybe a little bit more humble about your method that you think would work. Then, of course, you realize that, you need to pretty much probably manage your boss. So everybody maybe think they know how to manage people, and when they mean by that is people reporting to you. Okay. There are some type of roles where people don't report to you, so your power is not authority, it's influence. Use that better. It's the hardest way. But if you can influence someone that doesn't report to you to do something, well, okay. So so that would be, so it's not the listen, but it's open up. Don't think you know. Right? All right. So the distance. So day one.
So you said manage your boss. How does that work in practice? How do you manage your boss? Your boss is sitting in some foreign country in a big tower somewhere, with a big desk and a big power job, thinking, well, we sent Loïc off to Japan, just get it happening, Loïc, and they're not ready to be managed about Japan. And don't tell me Japan's different. They all say that. It's basically the same as headquarters. What are you talking about, So how do you manage the boss?
That's right.
What's the boss handling techniques here?
Yeah, right. So, probably, of course, it's easier said than done. But if you reflect yourself as a boss, you don't want people coming in with problems. So what you have to try very hard is to understand what is your boss problem. What are the topics he actually cares about? Where are you on the list? If you're number one, well, okay, you have to try to become number 3.
Yes. Number one's not the boss's problem.
And if you're at the very end of the list, well, you probably still wants to have a little bit of attention so that the boss can help you rather than tell you that you never call him and you never explain anything, what's going on, and it's a disaster. So this is a little bit of, an equilibrium, again, a balance. You want to get credit. You want to explain what's going on or what is not going on. Of course, you have to take charge so you don't escape. Right. It's a lot to do as well on company culture.
And what about, you've actually been in Japan before. So often there's a danger that you're applying the Mahle solution to ABB problems, because that's your experience in Japan. I'd worked there, so obviously I should work here. How about that aspect of it as well? This is a bit more nuanced than someone coming fresh off the banana boat who doesn't know anything about Japan. There's also the danger when you've been in Japan. You've got your template. Oh, here's the right template. I'll just whack that on ABB and see if this will work. What about that, adjusting for that?
Yeah, of course. So, well, I said that before, but this is also true here. I don't think there are any recipes. You have... you can have a couple of ingredients, it's like a cocktail. 3 ingredients, a little zest of something, and then you can do 2 different drinks with the same ingredient. So, okay, I think, again, this comes to the take a bit of distance. Don't try to contribute day one. To be honest, in Japan, they also don't expect that. This is also very important to understand how is a leader seen in Japan. The leader seen as the guy in the office that don't take care of the day-to-day. Don't get into the nitty-gritty details. Don't ask detailed questions. Show up in a boardroom and say very generic things that nobody learns anything about. About it.
Yeah.
Very...
So low bar. Extremely low bar.
Low bar, maybe so. Exactly. From Western style, we want to get the guy coming in, showing up, Slack presentation, knowing the things from day one.
Yep.
That's what they expect.
Yeah.
What the people expect here, they want to see you, but not too much.
And don't break anything.
Don't break anything. Exactly. And so yes, there is, and that's why, what you have learned is experience, but experiences. So you have learned different paths. And maybe you find out, okay, with these different actions that I took, in general, in that context, these had this type of outcome. So I think this is what experience brings you, is that you are faster and picking up the tool or the pair of tools that would work. Right? The range, the size, you say, oh, okay, maybe this is 12, 13, or 14. This is not a 6 or a 15. You don't know which one fits, but you still are equipped. If you only have 3 tools, most likely one of these 3 would fit. And this is how I see it, is a kind of the mechanics that taste the oil and smell, oh, this is where it is, the problem. Okay, not anymore with the EVs, but in the old times. So, so copy-paste doesn't work. But in a cultural context, it's helping. That is why I think the richness, when you have been around, worked with different type of teams, this is what you learn, is that in a set of a cultural frame, the culture is there, quite heavy. The French people, the German, the Indian, the Chinese, everybody is different. So in Japan, okay, there is a set of things. And it's not that what worked is going to work again. You have to, and also you sometimes you don't have to say it all. I've learned that also.
So you don't have to
not in ABB.
You don't have to be the fount of all knowledge.
Absolutely.
And experience and awareness. Yeah? Exactly.
I've been told 10 years ago during a business discussion, there was one VP, Mahle, Japanese person. And then he told me, Loïc, you speak too much.
Oh, okay.
But he was kind, and he was very wise. You don't have to put all the cards on the table. And I remember. And what he means exactly. Sometimes you have to, many times actually, you rather be silent.
It's often very common. You attend meetings with Japanese senior executive C-suite people, and the president hardly says anything. He just sits there, silent. Other people are talking. He's just sitting there, sometimes they're not even awake. depending on how big the meeting is, you think, what's his point? Why is he here? Contributing. But that's as you say, the bar is low on expectation about what a senior person should or shouldn't do, isn't it? And
absolutely.
we're in a Western dynamic business environment, you're expected to be able to do everything.
That's right.
And perform as well. What about Japanese language? Like you've said that you know a few things in Japanese. Is that because your wife's fluent in Japanese and she can go to the restaurant for you, order everything, organize the travel to the onsen, takes care of everything for you? You can just cruise through and not have to worry? Or what you're thinking about, should they learn Japanese while they're here?
Yeah, it's a good point. I've learned many languages. French, of course, English. I do speak Spanish, Mandarin. I've learned when I was young. So speak a bit of German because I was there in Germany for some time, and the company also asked to culturally, try to immerse myself. But I have to say now, I tried already 10 years ago, and I was busy at work. And now what I found out is the effort that I need to put in will not translate into a viable outcome in the working environment for sure. And outside of Japan, yes, well, I can catch. I probably, like many people like this, they can catch more than what they can say actually. And I've also to say, and maybe this is, I don't know, I'm not unique at all, but because this Japanese language is highly contextual. I happen to be in a family discussion or sometimes even in a business meeting, catching few keywords, watching people, knowing the context. This company is in that situation, in this market, and so on. The relationship with the people, they know themselves for a long time. Have they been drinking recently together or not? And this gives you this context, enhance very strongly your understanding of what's going on, where are we.
I think we become super expert body language readers when you don't know the language well, because you're, as you say, keywords, body language, watching them very, very carefully, putting together the context. You can actually work out what's going on, even though you don't have perfect understanding of what's going on through the language itself. But they're, as you say, they're communicating a lot of things to you. Any other things you'd suggest to someone who's being sent to Japan? Any things they should avoid?
They should avoid to watch the clock.
Okay.
Because time is different. Of course, Japanese are very precise they like precision, therefore quality. They are obsessed with the customer. Yeah, okay. But the time, they want to be on time. Yes. But how long it takes? How long it takes is not really part of the discussion.
No.
Or then you have these calendars that are extensive so much that at the end, from your perspective, you start to get mad even before you talked about the topic. This Gantt chart, and you say, well, how many months does it take? And then you start already not panicking, but being emotional. So time is, you have to, and this is again back to management expectation, manage your boss. And if you allow me just a small bracket, before I'm sent to Japan, I want to take the course before, if I can. So I brief my boss what I've learned. I'm not yet there. I didn't start. I calibrate my boss. You think a year? 3.
I like that.
You
I
calibrate.
Like that.
So time is it takes always more, and I don't say slow. I say it takes more time than you expect.
In my company, because I always have this issue about me being more time demanding than anybody in the office, as part of our culture, we have a saying, in our business at our size, we must have a strong sense of urgency. We have to be the speedboat. We cannot be the oil tanker, because they're all oil tankers. They're taking a long time to turn around and do something different. But you learn, that's Japan. You can't hustle it and speed it up so easily. You can make it go a little bit faster maybe, but you're not going to turn 3 into 1 and get it done in 1 year. That's just not going to happen. You might get 2 years and 9 months instead of 3 or something, or 2.5 or something, but it's not going to be 1. And what about your definition of leadership? What's your definition of leadership?
So yes, thank you. I truly believe that this is to take action for other people to reach their full potential in order to, of course, achieve common goals. So it's about the others. You have a role and responsibility, of course, you yourself as well. You also want to fulfill your own dreams, of course, you want to achieve personally. But obviously, your primary role is make sure that whatever is the size of the organization you're leading, they feel you're here. If not, then if some of them, okay, it's always difficult, right? Okay, but the vast majority have to feel that we understand where we go, we understand why. So the vision, the mission, the presence, the clarity. I recently was in a course as well where they say, well, authenticity is also coming into play, which is relatively recent from leadership theory, let's say, that now the leader also has to be authentic. We have to see that what you say and what you do, who you are walking in the office, it's you.
I often wonder about that, frankly, because, I've had some very authentic bosses who were dictators.
Right.
Nightmares, terribly authentic, unbelievably authentic, and authentically bad leaders,
Right.
So I often, when I hear these terms, I think to myself, all right, what are we talking about? Is this an excuse to act up here? Is this an excuse to be unhinged and uncontrolled and just, hammering people because you're being authentic? I often, it's a more nuanced discussion for another day, but
okay.
I just challenge when I hear that sort of stuff. I always think, what are they talking about?
But there is a balance, which is empathy.
There is, yes.
And so, of course, but so the point is, yes, okay. So we exactly like you said, we could talk a long time about it, but I think this is to make sure that the people feel that they are supported to achieve what sometimes they don't know themselves what they can do.
Yeah.
So we say, like you untap a territory in marketing, you also unlock potential for some people, and you do that by in giving self-confidence, not to go necessarily the extra mile always. This is not about performance per se, but at first realizing that you can do it, and you can do more. I know, and when people listen, when you give them the opportunity to truly listen to what you say, and then they listen to themselves. I had a couple of examples, and I think this is the biggest reward, that people that, including in ABB actually, one person that told me, oh, Loïc, yeah, you did this keynote speech about learn, connect, and grow, which we have something like this in ABB. Okay, and after that, this person applied for a new job because he said, well, I heard your word and I reflected, and I applied and I got the job, and I thought I couldn't, and this is for me the big reward. Is that
stepping
you have
out of
changed,
the comfort zone.
Yes,
trying something, pushing a little bit harder.
Right, and you change this person. Life or trajectory.
Yeah, the possibilities open right up.
So,
and this is a culture which actually is a suppressive culture. Fit in, be the same as everyone else. Don't step out. Don't talk. Don't put your hand up. Keep a low profile.
Yeah.
Keep under the radar. Retire. at 65 with your pension, you know. So encouraging people to reverse engineer that, to say, well, you know, I'm going to challenge. I'm going to put my hand up. I'm going to try something.
Yep.
I'm going to become uncomfortable with, you know, things, and not that easy. Loïc, it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Very,
Brett.
very, very exciting to talk with you today. So thank you very much. And please join us again for our next episode of Japan's top business interviews.